Cows are not citizens of Nigeria.
So, Mr. President, cows are not citizens of Nigeria, but
you didn't hear what I said. Senator Aleru, are you arguing with me?
No,
I said cows are not citizens. The section you are referring to is talking about citizens of Nigeria.
Yes.
And cows are not citizens of Nigeria. Cows can come in from Niger. They can come in from Chad, anywhere. But cows are not citizens.
Wrong.
So, your point of order is noted, but rejected. You want to make contribution on the debate? Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm against the idea of restricting movement of Nigerians from one state to another.
No, that would not happen.
Right now, citizens of Nigeria are allowed to move from one state to another to establish business without any hindrance whatsoever.
It affects everywhere in Nigeria.
Yes.
Nobody can restrict
pastoralists
movement.
are citizens of Nigeria. They can move to North Central, Northwest, Northeast, South, and establish their business without...
They can do so, but not with AK-47.
Yeah. No. I'm not talking about criminals.
You don't understand. You just noticed something. I'm saying that we are going to a portion that says that brings about restriction. So, and I want to refer that to Senator Sam. He has to delete that part. So let's not deviate from the debate. Let me conclude my contribution. Let me conclude, please. It's a private business. Government has no business going into ranching. Even the cattle route, which Senator Karimi mentioned, used to be the practice when we had 19 northern states as one state under northern Nigeria. And then that was the time when we had cattle route, beginning from maybe from Sokoto up to Lokoja. But now, the states have been balkanized into 19 states. Northern Nigeria has been balkanized into 19 states. And each state has control of its land. So you cannot really bring the issue of cattle route for now. It is not applicable at all because it touches on the territorial integrity of some states. Some states will not allow it. So ranching should be seen as a business, and government has no business going into it.
Why do you now tell herders to go back to their states of origin?
Is that what the bill says?
Excuse me. That's what it says. Now read. Excuse me.
Read the portion that says.
The bill proposes that ranches be established in the pastoralist state of origin without forcing it upon other states or communities that do not have pastoralists as citizens.
Okay.
This is what it's saying.
Noted.
Now, please, my friend Zam, understand that this is not in consonance with our constitution. Your bill is good. I like this bill, but this aspect should be removed. We should remove it, or we should. I advise him, he's my friend. I said it's nice for him to step it down. I advise my friend Senator Zam to step this bill down for more consultation, for better, drafting, so that it will go in consonance with our constitution. But leaving it the way it is now, look, Mr. President, I'll tell you some of these Fulanis. If you ask them where is their sort of religion, they even forgot. They look at themselves as Nigerians. We should address the issue to reflect wherever someone is his place, and he can do his business there. So, Mr. President, I advise that this bill should be stepped down for further consultations. Here,
I will.
Brought this bill. Senator Sam is a very eloquent speaker and someone I admire so much. But you cannot be perfect in everything. Obviously, there's a snag in this bill. There's a problem in this bill. And because you really cannot cannot stop anyone, any Nigerian, from living in any area that he so wishes. The relevant section of the Constitution has been read. I saw something just a few days ago. Senator Natasha paid a visit to a Fulani settlement in our senatorial zone. Those people do not have any home except that place. They've been there for so long. They've been part and parcel of that society. Now to tell them to move to their state of origin. Where is their state of origin? Where is their state of origin? Now, for us as political leaders, the political class, I would like you to look at that. Who is the current senator of FCT? She is a Yoruba native. She's a Yoruba person, but she has won election here in FCT. Nobody told her to go back to her state. I, for one, I won my election in Tarauni constituency, my first election to come to the National Assembly in 1999, from Kano Central, but I'm from Kano North. Nobody told me to go back to Kano North.
But I will be surprised that up to now, we don't know some of the impediments towards realizing issues to curb farmers' headers clashes. Apart from the Constitution, like Senator Alero said, the ECOWAS protocol is part of the problem that we have. You can quote the Constitution, but what about the ECOWAS protocol? It allows you to move anywhere with your business. It allows you to move anywhere with your cows. So in getting towards realizing this, you must be very conscious of your laws in the nation, because you are not making a law for your state. You are making a law for the federation. The National Livestock Production Scheme was introduced under the Vice President. Everything was packaged, but some states refused. Some states even refused ranches. So this matter requires good consideration. I agree with the bill, but then we need to be very careful in getting towards even the second debate, so that we have a community of opinions, we have consensus on how to go about it. That will be also, yes, I said it, it has to also go out to the West African neighbors. Otherwise, you will say you don't want them to come in. They will also say they will not want you to go into their own environment. And that is the information I wanted to put, Mr. President.
To be very circumspect in our attitude to this lead debate, because the issue of ranching, cattle routes, and the rest of them have been in the front burner of national discourse in this country. Mr. President, I want to say here that the Constitution is not only made for one person, and that in contributing to debates of this nature, we must put national interest in focus. What we are witnessing here in the second reading of this bill is a fulfillment of one of the procedural requirements of lawmaking. There are other levels. We have the public hearing that will come, that will bring out the details of the law, where everybody will be invited to make contributions. We have not reached that stage. We also have a presidential assent that is required. We have not reached that stage. So I think that having agreed that this bill is very important and germane to our national situation now, I think that even those who are complaining about certain sections of the lead debate concede that they are not opposed to the bill. I therefore want to suggest that we allowed the second reading of this bill to be committed to the relevant committees and for public hearing to be conducted, where all relevant stakeholders will be invited for them to make their contributions. At the end of the day, we'll get a bill that will make a law that will be acceptable to all Nigerians. I so submit, Mr. President.
let me, Senator Babangida, you have a point of order. But just before then, let me correct myself. When I said that cows are not citizens, I may be right in that regard. But what the Constitution is talking about is movement of persons and properties. And therefore, that is corrected. So cows are properties owned by citizens, and they have a right to be moved from one point to the other.
A very critical part of our national life that is leading to a disintegration of our lives through the incessant herder-farmer clash, destruction of plants and all that by those. And indeed, that has also led to the invasion of Nigeria by those who call themselves herders but are not Nigerian citizens. I recall, as a member of this Senate, that this bill at a particular time was also introduced on the floor of this Senate by Senator Kwankwaso. I recall also the problem that was following the debate, and that problem is what we will need to tackle if we have to get to the nitty-gritty of this bill. While I agree that now is the time for us to stop open grazing, it also means that this is also the time for us to take another look at the law that makes land to be in the hands of states. Because there's no way you are going to be able to establish a ranch in a state if the state government says that they don't want it. I'm glad that Senator Zam has said that those who are sedentary, in states of origin of the herders, should be able to establish ranches. And of course, he has also given us the costing. But in order to do this, we must go back and look at the law. Because if we don't deal with that law, merely asking people to go, if they want to establish ranch, to now go and talk with those. No one owns land. It's the state governments that own land. That means that even if you agree with the owners or settlers or a community or that, if the state government does not give its consent, then it means that you will not be able to go forward with it. So as we consider this, I also want us to look at the Land Use Act as an impediment to this particular very wonderful bill to ensure that we can get and put to rest this matter of herder-farmer clash. And I can see why. And I want to also recall to all my colleagues that at a particular time, the former governor of Kano State, Ganduje, suggested to everyone that he has enough land in Kano State for all the herders in Nigeria to come and graze. But of course, what happened is that some people are using these herders and all that to destabilize this country. Just 2 weeks ago, I was at home in my own local government in Obingwa, far down in the southern part of Nigeria, in Abia State. Some women came to me and said that the herders were bringing their cows to finish up all their planted, and that there's nothing they can do. That even when they come there, they will threaten them that they are going to kill and maim, and there's nothing they can do about it. They wanted for me to do something about it. So I had to go to the local government chairman and said, let's go and see the DPO and they had to go to plead with those headers. That is the extent to which this has reached. Everyone in Nigeria, if you go from the west to the coast, all the way up to the middle belt and you go up to the north, farmers are under threat. And what it has led to is the food crisis that we have today.
Before we can go into the clause-by-clause consideration of the bill, that we must have a public hearing. We must bring in all the stakeholders, the Farmers Association, the Mitiala, and then we must bring in the state governments and all the stakeholders so that everybody will have a say. And we must have a holistic discussion on this. And then also, like Senator the civil Senator Baribe pointed out, if there is need to tinker with the Constitution in terms of the Land Use Act, which is in the Constitution, to enable us create a clause that will allow easy access to land for ranching, we should do so. And then we should also know that many people may not have money to go into ranching. And it's something that we should do gradually. But whatever it is, when we go into the major issue of discussing it at the public hearing, we'll get more information and get stakeholders' opinion.